Hello, my name is Jenan Kanono. I'm the team leader at Jonaki Holdings Limited, where we get to serve you. So if you have a financial challenge, if you have a money problem, if you want to scale up your business, we have you sorted. And you can always check us out at www.thejonakiholdings.com for money solutions. We are located in Tinda as our headquarters and at Mulago Business Center as our branch. Enjoy this video. I picked this majorly, some of my sharings from Proverbs 27:17. That is, as iron sharpens iron, so man sharpens the countenance of his friend. So if you're a lender, you're a borrower, you're a friend, you're a colleague, so we need to sharpen each other. We need to sharpen each other's countenance. And that's why I belabor to share my experiences with you. And also, if you have the opportunity, you should share with someone else as well. If you learn something, share with someone else as well. So how can you empower your team? Especially, I'll speak in the lens of money lending industry. So, truth be told is that the industry that we're playing in is a bit risky. The industry is a bit risky, it's a bit volatile, but whereas there are many people that are signing up, registering and getting licenses and all, there are many people who are closing shop. I am yet to see any industry that has a huge turnover or closure of business as lending, that as a big number comes in, the big number is exiting. Why? Because someone goes, sells his plot 10 million, says I'm going to lend it. And he goes, lo and behold, he lends the money. And before you know it, the person has actually just given the money away. And he goes back, he's lost the land, he's lost the money. There are some things that we sidestep, but I think personally are very, very important that we need to consider, especially in this industry, because it's easy to join, but it's also very, very easy to exit. Because the product that we sell, the product that we deal in, is the product that is looked for by everyone. Everyone that moves out of their houses, out of their homes, they move out to look for money. If they are traders, if they are business people, if they are formally employed, if they are civil servants, they move out every day of the week to look for money. So for you, you're selling that money, you're selling that product. So you ought to take an extra care. One of the things that you need to look at in empowering your team, make sure you fully delegate your team. Because look, if I'm working under you, as point number one, if I'm working under you and you have to delegate, it will affect my performance. My performance in terms of results that I deliver, but also two, you're telling me, look, even after working for you for 10 years or 5 years, you're still telling me, look, I am still inadequate. I still cannot deliver. That is half delegation. That's what it insinuates much of the time. It is okay to have delegate if someone has just joined probably 1 week or 2 weeks. And probably they don't have as much experience in the industry. But if you work with someone and you're very sure they can deliver, you need to fully delegate to your subordinates, because you'll be empowering them to make decisions. And some of the decisions that we make as CEOs, as directors, as owners of businesses are usually biased. They're usually emotional. And if emotions are involved in a transaction, I kid you not, unless otherwise, the transaction will likely go bad, because their emotions are attached. You're trading not based on data, not based on the criteria, not based on the facts on ground. You're trading based on emotions. And lo and behold, emotions change every time, every minute, every day. So you can imagine if you bank a long-term transaction on emotions, definitely in the long run, the things are going to change. And before you know it, you've lost the money. So you need to fully delegate to your team. Digging deep in the full delegation, the key thing to understand is that much of the time as owners of the businesses, as CEOs, as directors, we need to be shielded from our businesses. And that only happens if you fully delegate. I'll share with you some scenario. I have had some of my friends who come and say, you know what, Jonan, I need some 50 million. I need some 100 million. And this guy is actually very close. This guy is a friend, or even sometimes a relative. And you can't even doubt their capacity to pay. You actually know what it is that they have. You know their investments, you know their businesses, you know their everything. But money is money. Sometimes things can actually go south. Then what happens? So I've had to deal with such people. He comes to you, say, Jonan, I want this man. You're like, okay. And then you hand them over to the operations manager. Because first of all, the operations manager has a procedure to follow. And she is aware, or he is aware, that he has to follow it to the dot. Or else it will raise an audit query, and before you know it, they'll get fired. Or they'll get affected somehow. Because I usually tell my staff, firing is not necessarily the first option. But the thing is, we are all feeding on this business. If this business closes, all of us are going to lose out. Because you're paid, I'm also paid. Now, I may not suffer the same way you're going to suffer, based on the levels we are at. I may get probably a job somewhere. I may get another venture that I'm running. But if you're just a starter in your career, it's going to affect you adversely. So you get affected differently. So you need to show them this whole picture, that this thing is benefiting all of us, and give them the mandate. So I've had such people. A client comes to you, great friend. He says, I want money. And they're like, man, because of the conflict of interest that I have, I cannot serve you. I take them to the operations manager, Jonaki. And these people assess, screen, step by step, until the money is dispensed. But I tell you, when I was starting, that was not the case. So if you're somewhere and you're at a particular level, don't feel bad. It was not the case. And I lost a lot of money then. But now, we can even afford to say, the loans committee tells me, Jonan, we cannot dispense this money. I have to tell this guy, we cannot serve you because of ABCD. And it is okay. Because our relationship is not only banked on that transaction. If there is something that cannot qualify, I have to let go. And it is okay. So you need someone, an operations manager or whoever, or staff that you can empower, or a team that you can empower, to tell you that, we cannot transact on this person and it should be fine. So you owe to empower your team by fully delegating to them. Second point, which I'll end with because of time, is training. Train. Hire for character, train for skill. Because you cannot train someone to have character. So if you have someone who has character, you had better train them. Why? Because if you lose them, it is hard to get someone else who has similar character. In the lending industry, if your character is questionable, you as the owner of the business, you're in problems. But more so, will you be in problems if your staff's character is questionable? So you owe to hire for character and train for skill. Anyone who comes out of university does not have experience. Even a person who has 10 years experience started at a particular point when they had zero experience. So if you don't give that someone an opportunity to hire with you and probably train them up to skill up and step up, whom will they train with? Especially if they have the character. So I have much belief that when you're screening your team, start with someone who is hardworking, who has character, and then you can train them. So you ought to train your people, even if they have zero experience. I actually prefer that for some positions, you hire someone who has zero experience. I've tested both experienced staff and non-experienced staff. But I kid you not, the staff that I've retained for a long haul are the staff that I hired when they were not as experienced. Because in experience, some of them, especially if they have bad character, if they have integrity issues, they bring along issues, character issues, integrity issues, and they even spread it to the rest of the team. So that's why it's important that even if it's 1 year experience, you still have to train them. So train your people so that they can deliver on what it is that you need delivered. So hire for character, train for skill, but also to fully delegate. Of course, there are a number of other points, but those ones I usually share them in my masterminds. But for now, pick those 2 points, go and implement them, and in a way, you'll be empowering your staff, and they'll be able to actually deliver, and deliver fully. But probably I'll share with you more in the subsequent video, especially in empowering your staff, because I realize it is one of the areas that I've been receiving most of the questions on. So thank you so much. Look out for part 2. It will share more details on how you can also fully empower your staff, apart from training them and apart from fully delegating to them. Thank you so much. Like, comment, share, but also check us out at www.jonakiholdings.com.